Hello, hello.
Hello.
So, been a minute. It has been a hot minute.
One hot minute.
Very flaming hot minute. So, what's been going on with you?
Not a whole lot. I mean, basically the holidays.
Yeah.
We know how that goes. Same old, same old. Hanging out with the fam and the crew,
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep things afloat.
Sure.
Um, Went to the doctor yesterday
Mm-hmm.
to see where everything's at. Um, it's also they do my yearly checkup,
Yeah.
check and see what my cognitive skills are, where they're at. But now I went to the doctor yesterday just to see where I was at. Probably more importantly for me to see where I was, weight loss, and yeah,
Yeah, what?
I only lost a pound.
You haven't?
No, I lost 1 pound.
You lost 1 pound. Hey,
Yeah, I mean
are you being
they
hard on
all.
yourself right now?
Am I
Were
what?
you hard on yourself? Were you like upset about it?
I had my moment. I think I had my, um, you know, 12 hours or whatever it may have been of self
Loathing.
loathing,
Hmm.
like I normally would do either way.
Yeah.
But hindsight and looking back at a lot of things, like I don't want to make excuses for myself, but we knew, or I knew going in that there was a possibility that I didn't lose anything and that I actually thought I gained weight. Because I just didn't, there was something about the way I felt over the last couple of weeks. Because, I was doing the 0.25 milligrams to zero point 0.5 and back to 0.25. And because of all the symptoms that you get and all the complications that you get from it. And, I was on the 0.5 for 3 weeks and had minimal, which don't get me wrong, I was happy about that.
Sure.
But 2 weeks ago, I went like almost a whole week where I spent time, more time than I would like in the bathroom.
Mm.
So last week I didn't take anything because I wanted to kind of mellow out.
Mm-hmm.
Also knowing, had Natalia's shower on Saturday. I didn't want anything to get in the way of that. So, I went back on it yesterday after coming back from the doctors. But um, again, holidays, knew I was going to have some issues. Not like I even went overboard. It was kind of more snacking than usual for obvious reasons. But I probably more soda than I would like to have drank.
Sure.
Um, but after having time to think and listen to a few people in my ear, especially like my doctor was happy. I'm like, I'm glad you're happy because I'm not happy. But he
Mm-hmm.
was happy because he actually said he expected me to gain weight. So, and he, seeing all the reasons that holidays, um, the fact that it's the winter and you don't do as much in the wintertime as you do in the summer months or leading up to when it starts to get really cold outside. And then also he also feels that I've kind of hit that,
Plateau?
not plateau, but I'm at that point where I need to bump up to a higher level of dosage, which
And
is
just kind of
funny.
thug it out.
Well, I talked to him about it and I let him know what was going on. I told him that I was doing zero point 0.5 and I was, happy with zero point 0.5 because I was having minimal complications. But, that 1 week, it was just every day, it seemed like something was, I was not more time in the bathroom. Well, more time than normal in the bathroom.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm back on it this week. What's funny is last week I went to go pick up uh, my next round of medicine from the doctor, and I get in there. And before I got in there, though, I had to contact Novo Nordisk to find out, when they were sending out my next supply, and that's when I found out that I was bumped up to 1 milligram, and I'm like, you'll be lucky if I take this like next year, because that's just like right now, that's the thought of it is just like
So
way too
he
much.
bumped you up after.
Well, I don't know if it was him. I think it was him, because when I remember talking to him yesterday, he made mention of that he felt that I was at that point where I needed to go up in dosage. But what was funnier was when I actually got there to pick it up, and the nurse is like, "So, do you need to talk to him about anything?" I'm like, "Well, I was kind of just wondering about the 1 milligram." She's like, "Oh, you want to go up to 2 milligrams?" I'm like, "No,
Oh my God, your guts would fall out.
I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to take 2
No.
milligrams. So I just said I'd talk to him because I was going to be in on Monday and blah, blah, blah. So we talked about it. But I have, right as it stands right now, I still have 4 more pens. Like I still have 4 more months worth of pens in the 0.25, 0.5 range before I get to the 1 milligram. So the plan is just to keep doing what I've been doing and try to get myself built up so that when it comes time for me to go on 1 milligram, I'll be good, because getting up because what it is it's like the sulfur burps. And when I get the sulfur burps, then I know what I'm in for, because it's always at nighttime. Obviously, you eat at nighttime or for dinner, and then I get real bad burps.
Yeah.
Then when I'm laying in bed and I'm sleeping, I get the buildup of gas. And once I get the buildup of gas, I know I'm in for it.
Did you tell your doctor that you have these kind of symptoms after you take it? And what did he say?
It's not, well, when you take it.
Or side effects?
Yeah, usually it's a buildup to those side effects. Like, I don't have it right now. I could get them tomorrow.
You took it yesterday?
I took it yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I could get it tomorrow. I could get it the next day. I know that if I don't get it, I don't get it. Like there have been times where I've woken up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and because you're laying and all that air's here, and then when you get up, I'll get like one burp, and I'm like, oh. But if it continues, then I know that I'm going to have a long night ahead of me.
Can you do something to counteract that effect? Because listen, I take it's called Phillips. I think it's called All-in-One, and it takes care of gas and bloating, and it's a probiotic, but it takes care of all of those things, like the gas, bloating, and all of those things. Is there a way that you can do that to sort of counteract those side effects?
I'm sure there is. I mean, I haven't tried like Gas X or anything like that. I do take like Rolaids because there's been some nights where I've gotten really bad acid reflux in the middle of my sleep. So I can take that. And I do take it's a probiotic gummy that I take to try to counterbalance that release, because that's the whole gas problem is because your body's not releasing, your stomach's not releasing the food to your stomach right away. So that's why you have that buildup. But then the flip side of that is that it's really not, it's not breaking the food down. The nutrients, the reason why, like when you go to the bathroom and it's solid is because your body it's absorbed all of the nutrients and it's packing, I hate to use that term, but it's packing it all up. You're not really getting all of what you're supposed to. So it's like literally almost like running through you. But the flip side of that is you can also have constipation from it too.
Sure.
So it's like there's the two extremes. And right now I have more of the one than I do the other.
Right. Before you leave today, I've got some of those Phillips that I'm going to send you home with because I have a whole new bottle. I love them. I love them.
You know what prescription that is? No, just kidding.
It's not a prescription. It's just a probiotic, and it helps with your guts.
Yeah,
and I have gut issues. I really
Yeah.
do. You know, I've always had gut issues. So
It's just funny because, like I told Christina, I said, that's probably the reason why I've lost so much weight. It's because it just goes right through my system and comes out. It's a lot of, water that's coming out of your system. I mean, because the chemistry of the body is mostly all water anyway.
do you feel like it has maybe inhibited your appetite? Has it stunted your appetite?
It does. Like, there are times, like I said before, the first time that I took it, like literally like 2 days after I took it, we were going to eat. And all I ate was just the side of vegetables that Christina put on my plate. I was full. Like, I couldn't eat any of the chicken I could have, but I didn't have the desire to want to do that. And that's the whole point of the medicine, is it's supposed to the stomach triggers your brain into thinking that because it doesn't release the food and it's not breaking the food down the way it's supposed to. So it makes your brain think that you're full.
Here's my problem. It's not about being full for me. I don't know that Ozempic would ever work for me. And here's why. I feel like I love the taste of food. And if I had a piece of really juicy chicken with some gravy and stuff and a side of vegetables, if the Ozempic made me feel full, I would still be like, I'm eating that because it tastes good.
Well, it's funny you say that because obviously I haven't shorted myself on food, but I can do the same thing with certain foods like pasta, beef, any type of beef. Like, I can pound some of that stuff away like it's no problem.
But it's also lean, right?
Yeah.
Well, pasta is carbs.
It's carbs, but if
sugar.
you eat it if you eat it the correct way, it's not gonna kill you. But that was one of the things that we had a conversation about the last time I saw him was, to not feel guilty if you eat like a piece of chicken or a piece of a pork loin. It's protein. So, don't feel so guilty. You just everything has to be in moderation, which I think that's what I've gotten a lot better at. I think what I need to get even more so better at is the snacking part. I can do, like I said, I've been doing the intermittent fasting, and I like it, but I can do a better job at my choices of snacking and when I snack. It's another one of these things too, where the last 3 months with all the holidays and stuff like that, I've broken cycles that I was in. I was in a cycle of, okay, I don't eat until after 12 o'clock, and then I stop eating at 8 o'clock, and I was really strict about it. Well, the last 3 months, I've kind of not been that way, for whatever reason. Maybe I was in my head and thought, oh, well, the Ozempic's taking, it's going to take care of all that. There's that. There's so many different factors, but long story short, I have over the past 3 months too, I've made a lot of progress as far as being able to stand longer, to walking more, to wanting to do more, to being way more flexible than I, used to do. And, the simple things that I think if there's anything that I've ever taken that I took for granted before that I don't take for granted now, it's very, very simple things that you do every day that I was having a problem doing before, and now I'm getting back into it because of weight and because of my back and what that's done to my body. I'll never take that for granted again.
Of course, yeah.
Being able to have the gumption to want to walk through a grocery store, and go grocery shopping, as opposed to sitting in a cart because I can't walk for a long period of time. That's all starting to come back. Those are the things that I think, yes, the weight loss is extremely important, and what I'm going through with the Ozempic is it's a learning experience and it's a journey. Overall, the whole process is one big marathon, and that's the part that I have to get into my head more and more every day. Um, it's just it's a process, and it's something that I'm trying to get used to because we live in a goal oriented society. We live in a result society, and we tend to it's a has to be done right here, right now. And I think
Totally.
that especially, for myself from working in retail and food and beverage for all these years, where it's result driven, which everything mostly is result driven. But I mean, to be upfront and close and personal with it, it's like if I don't lose the weight now or when I want it to be lost, I feel like it's a fail.
Right.
And it's I'm 54 years old. It's not going to come off like when I was 20 and I was working out is different than 54 and working out or even just trying to move around. It's a lot different. So, but as long as I'm staying the course, that's where I feel like that's where I need to be, and to not be in my head and thinking that granted 1 pound, but like my doctor said, he thought I was going to gain weight and he was happy with the pound.
Sure, yeah. So during the holidays and during well, you said the baby shower. Did you not take anything last Monday because of it?
I didn't take anything last Monday because the week before was a really long week. Like, so we're talking 2 weeks. 2 weeks today was that whole week was really long and tough because every time I would eat, like I'd be in the bathroom, and that's not enjoyable. I mean, for anybody, it wouldn't be enjoyable. I mean,
No.
especially when you go to sleep at night and you're constantly being woken up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you have to run back and forth to the bathroom, and that process lasts for 4 hours. So, you may be getting like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, but then the next 4 hours, you're stuck going back and forth to the bathroom.
Miserable.
And we're not talking like it's like almost, I hate to use the term violent, but it is. It's like, imagine going to your faucet and you turn the faucet on for like 5 seconds. That's what the process is like. And it's like, this is horrible. And all you hear is like everything running through your system. And it's not an enjoyable time. So my I didn't say anything to Christina because I knew what she was going to tell me, but I was like, well, listen, if I take it again on, which would have been last Monday, I don't want to have that issue because last week was the first, or 2 weeks ago was the first time ever that it lasted for like 5 days straight. So I didn't want it happening again, and then running into, not only just because I didn't want to feel that way, but I also didn't want it to run or interfere with plans that I had.
Sure.
Whether it be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I didn't want it to interfere with that. So I opted not to take it last Monday, which I've done before in the past, prior. I skipped, I think the last time when we talked, prior to then, I'd skipped twice because when I first started out on it, I was like, man, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
Is this what I got to go through? And
I wonder if there'll be a time where your body just registers it as being something that is normal. And so that you don't have, maybe this is just kind of like, if you stick to the routine of just taking it every Monday and sort of suffering through all of the side effects of that. And then what if it just evens out and your body's like, oh, okay, this is normal.
Well, that's where I think I got with the 0.25. And
Yeah.
then when I started to work my way into the 0.5, like I said, I went 3 weeks where, I had like one day or one night where I had to, run to the bathroom maybe once or twice the most. I was like, man, this is cool. Like, I'm making headway here. And then that 1 week was just like,
yeah,
I was in the bathroom like
yeah,
every day, every night. So I wasn't getting any sleep. And, that kind of, when it starts interfering with like your personal time, like, because, truth be told, it's not like I have a whole lot of stuff to do while I'm at home. But when you're sitting there and you're worried about, can I go out to the store? Can I go and do this? Or am I going to have to worry about running, to the bathroom or trying to find a bathroom somewhere? Because it's when it wants to,
It
when your
just,
body
there's
wants
no,
it to
yeah,
go,
yep, you're done.
you
You're
can't
done.
fight it.
Yeah.
You can clench your
I've
butt.
had that issue too many times without taking Ozempic. I mean, I can only imagine if I was like, hey, Troy, you got an extra couple pens I can use? I got a couple pounds I want to dismiss. You know what? you would probably hear about it on the news. Woman loses all intestines, her colon, everything was on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can't.
It's not fun when it happens, because it's like I said, it's in the middle of the night. And then because then you're worried about waking up your husband, your wife,
yeah,
worried about waking Christina up, but she sleeps like a tank anyway. So,
oh, good for her.
But poor Gizmo's like, he'll be curled up and then he looks up to see what's going on, because he hears me going back and forth. But I hate to say that I'm used to it, but I'm used to it, and I know how to get it under control and then restart the process again. But yeah, I mean, the good thing is that they're finding more things out about the usage of Ozempic and any other type of semaglutide that's out there, like
Wegovy.
They just start, there's Wegovy, Ozempic, and then you have the tirzepatides, which are like Zepbound. Or Mounjaro is the one that's semaglutide. Wegovy and Zepbound are the tirzepatides. But like with with Ozempic and Mounjaro, they've done more and more studies, and they found some other. They've piggybacked off some of the things we talked about before, like alcohol suppression and drug addiction. But now they just they found out some encouraging things that have to do with Alzheimer's. So I'm sure they'll find out more as we go along. But then something new that I saw the other day, which is it said in the article, it was about what happens when you take Ozempic or semaglutide, that it breaks down your muscle mass and bone density, which I could be wrong, but I mean, anytime you diet, period, you lose muscle mass, and that's why
unless you're encouraging your muscles to not lose that muscle mass by counteracting the medicine with supplements that are proteins and working out, stuff like this.
That's why I said, like, I'm listening, but at the same time, like, I also understand the other side. I'm looking at both sides of the fence on it. So, I mean, I know that from me not working out anymore and from being, not active, that, a lot of the muscle mass that I had has just drooped away, and I see it every day in the mirror. So, once I get back to working out again, hopefully I can counterbalance some of that. But yeah, I mean, those are the new things. And then the only discouraging thing, and, we're not going to talk politics, but the fact that the government nor Medicare or Medicaid can negotiate drug prices is going to have a huge effect on people who people like me who take it on the regular. Because fortunately for me, I'm a part of the program, the patient assistance program. Not everybody can get on that. So if you're using your insurance, there's a lot of things that go with the insurance that we talked about before. And if they're not able to negotiate, that gives the pharmaceutical managers and the pharmaceutical companies, the stronghold on what it's going to cost us, the people that take these medications, and any medication for that matter. I mean, it's not just gonna hit your weight loss meds. It's gonna hit everything from from
Mental
that,
health meds
yeah,
to
insulin, stuff like that.
that's
So
crazy. It really is insane. Our healthcare system needs to do better. Our government needs to do better when it comes to that.
yeah, we also went through. We haven't talked since that happened with the uh, CEO who
Right.
got murdered. And
Right.
that's the downside of it all, is that a lot of people don't understand that these health companies are making hand over foot when they make denials, and part of those denials aren't even denials from that actual company. It's from
Just
like a third party
crazy.
company
It's so
that,
crazy.
because I went through that. So when all this stuff came out, when it happened, and I read more on that whole scenario, I started looking back on what I went through, and just to get an MRI.
I remember.
It's just, that is absolutely crazy. And it ties into everything else in our society today. Again, we're not going to go down that wormhole, but you know, these CEOs of these companies are making, every year they're making hand over foot, whether it's pharmaceutical, whether it's grocery or whatever, they're making hand over foot, and they're getting raises. But nobody wants to think about, hey, that's affecting all of us.
You know why, Troy? It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. It's all about money at the
Yeah.
end of the day. It's chasing that almighty dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is gross.
Mm-hmm.
It is disgusting. And you look at other countries, right? Again, not going down this rabbit hole, but I'm just going to say my piece real quick.
Yeah.
You look at other countries where they're happier, healthier. They don't have all this shit in their food. They have access to good health care. They're not, the healthcare industry is not after the almighty dollar. And look, they're living their best lives. It's harmonious. It's a life that we here in America, we long for that. Where so many people, they long to come here for freedom
For
and to
freedom.
make money and stuff like that, the American dream. But the American dream has turned into the American nightmare.
It is, because when you sit down and look at the numbers, the United States has the highest rate of heart disease in the world.
Right.
And what is a factor in heart disease and heart attacks and all that stuff? Stress. Well, who works the hardest in the whole entire world? We do. We work more hours than everybody else in this country, or in the world.
I don't know. I feel like China, they work very hard a lot. But they
do.
also drink green tea all day. So that could counteract
Fair
that.
enough.
You know what I mean?
It's just, there's a lot of things, and it's funny, because when I look back to way back when Michael Moore made the movie, the documentary about healthcare, and he flat out said, the healthcare system, they would rather us die than them pay out the money
100%.
to take care of us. Back then, everybody was like, yeah, whatever. And
no,
now
whatever.
you jump like 15, 20 years, and you look at where we're
And
at
you see
now,
the proof.
and the proof is in the pudding.
Period.
So,
Yep.
Again, like, my journey is going to be, it's what I make of it. It's definitely, I have a, it's a plan. I don't want to sound like
What is your plan?
Concept of a plan.
No, what is your plan? Nobody wants to be strapped to anything.
No, it's funny because,
however,
yeah, like me and Christina talked about this yesterday, that, now that I'm starting to, move around a lot more, I do want to get back. I do want to go back to the gym. I do want to go and start working on myself a little bit more, so that I can, whether it's sitting on a bike or sitting at a row machine or, walking. I want to be able to do something where I can start working on that aspect and build myself and my stamina back up with that. Um, fortunately, we do have a Planet Fitness that's going to be built at the outlets around the corner from us. I don't know exactly when it should be done, in about a month. So if it is, then I'll be back there. But meantime, is to try and get out, like, and walk the dog, at least, if not, 50 yards or whatever, a couple times a day, try to go longer and try to build up, stamina that way. Um, I just have to be more vigilant about what I drink. I mean, trying to stay away from the sodas, uh, much more, that would be going back to what I was doing prior to the last, 3 months. Um, just trying to get myself in better shape, because I think the more that I start to move around, the more that I do, the better I'm going to feel. Not that I feel like crap right now, but I mean,
No, to be honest, I feel like you look like you feel better than you have in a lot of months, actually, I'll call it what it is, a lot of years.
yeah, I mean, I've gone through, uh, a lot of physical changes and a lot of I think mentally, I hate to say it, but I probably wasn't where I needed to be mentally either.
Yeah.
It's kind of, we talked about this the last time. It's kind of hard to feel good about yourself when you're in pain all the time.
Sure.
So, the less pain that I'm in, the more,
the better your mental.
Yeah. And the better attitude I'm going to have about certain things. Like I said, like, just pulling up to a store and saying to myself, you know what, I think I'm going to try to walk and do, like, I may only have to get 3 things, and I know that it's going to be a short trip, but still being able to walk in and grab those 3 things and go to a register and not feel stressed out because I'm in pain, or not feel stressed out because my body's, like, not going to be able to handle that short spurt. To be able to do that and get through it, like, to me, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you right now, before, even just like walking up the stairs, if I would have walked up the stairs 6 months ago, I probably would have been sweating profusely getting up here, because it would have been a lot of stress, in my body and in my mind. Now I'm not like that anymore. Like, I'm getting to the point where I can do things, and while I may be a little out of breath, I'm okay with that. I at least know that I got up the stairs and I didn't feel stressed out about it, or I didn't feel a certain way about it.
I'm a firm believer in mind over matter. Your mind is a very powerful thing. It really is, and can dictate so many things that happen for you, or not happen to you, but happen for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can go, anybody who's been in, like, psych or whatever in school, you can will your body to be sick. Like, if you keep telling yourself, well, I feel like I have a headache, or I feel a certain way, your body's going to eventually, that's what the
It's
mind
almost
does.
like you manifest it. You really do listen, I'm a wackadoo like this, and some people that think the same way that I do, they'll be like, girl, you're not a wackadoo. You're absolutely normal. It's everybody else that's a wackadoo. Me, I feel like if I have intrusive negative thoughts, I immediately need to get them out of my head. And there's a person that has a podcast, a lady that's got a podcast. Her name is Mel Robbins. Motivational. Shout out to Mel Robbins. She just had, like, Oprah Winfrey on her podcast not so long ago, which is huge, as you know, the Oprah effect, But she's just, she's not perfect, but she will tell you, I'm not perfect, and she tells you, like, her techniques for getting through things, and she just wrote a new book called the Let Them Theory. And that, I mean, in fact, Bobby just got a book not too long ago, I want to say maybe about a month ago. He got a couple books. One of them was How to Not Give a Fuck. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Did you buy that for me? Because I feel like Bobby doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about what people think, but maybe I'm missing something. Maybe that's a great facade that maybe I've missed. I've been with Bobby 18 years and I just feel like give me whatever it is that you got in your brain because I'm always on 100 all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're both one and the same where we can sit here and we can talk about a lot of stuff and be like, I don't give a fuck. But deep down inside, we both know, no, they do.
Speaking of, I mean, when you're talking about going into the grocery, right, and you're getting one of those carts, do you ever feel judged by other people that are like, bro, that's why you're too lazy to what, listen, this is not a shot at you. I'm just saying I would feel this way in my own brain if I was doing this and going, like, they're judging me. They're telling me that I know I can see in their face that they're just shaking their head and being like, if you would get up and just walk, then you wouldn't be the size that you are. Have you ever felt that?
I mean,
and maybe you shouldn't tell me because I'm going to want to beat people's asses.
No, I mean, I think we'd all be lying to ourselves if we haven't gone into a store and seen a person and been like, because we're all judgmental in one way or another. At some point, we've been judgmental, and I'm sure that when I've gone through that, somebody said something, but at this, and that's fine.
It doesn't bother you?
No, because you want to know why? Because I get it. I understand what you're thinking or how you feel. That's how you feel. But they also don't know the other side of it, which is, do you really think that I want to do this? Do you really think that I want to put myself in a position of being judged? It's like anybody else. Like, case in point, Christina and I watch, I don't know if you've ever seen this girl, Bailyn Dupree. She has Tourette's.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen her.
Has a show.
She used to have TikTok and then she has her own show. Right.
And we've been watching it. And Christina didn't know anything about her. And I was like, think about it. She's putting herself out there to show everybody what it's like to actually have this. And I can actually, I can empathize for her and with her because, with Lauren going through her epilepsy and knowing some of the things that I know, she's putting herself out there and we don't know everything. We don't know what she goes through on the daily. We don't know what her family goes through on the daily because she has that. And it's like, you don't know the other side of what I'm going through, which is the pain, because I need to live my life and I need to be able to get out and I need to do my things.
And that's why I think it is so important for you to share your journey. Just like, she kind of shared her journey on TikTok and then they picked it up. But a lot of people don't. For me, I'm not all about, everybody just, if this got picked up or something, your journey got picked up, that'd be freaking amazing for you. Right. But I respect it. Same with Liz. I respect people that are like, you know what? You don't understand me sitting in this cart at the grocery and you're judging me, but you don't know what's going on with me inside of me. And I don't want to have this and I don't want to be this way, but I literally need to also get things done that you, Slim Shady, can go in and get things done. And here I can't because I'm, I've got this going on.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other factors that go into things like, well, what are you doing on your free time? Like, all you do is that all you do is sit and you don't do anything all day? Well, there again, do you really think if you woke, I'll just put it like this. I wish I could, at the time when I was really in a lot of pain, I wish I could have given that to everybody to see what I was going through every single day. And to understand that when you're feeling that every day, when you get up, your mentality becomes, I don't want to fucking do this because I don't want to hurt. I don't want to feel this pain. So if all you can do is sit or lay down and not feel the pain, that's what I'm going to do.
And that
But-
also leads to depression
Right.
mentally.
So now
right?
you're talking about from a mental standpoint. I'm not saying I'm mental by any means, but it does work on you after a while. And even Christina brought
absolutely.
it up. Christina brought it up a long time ago that she thought that I needed to go and talk to somebody. Because she thought that I might have been suffering from depression. I was like, no. But now when I look back on stuff and, even at certain times, like I look back and I go, maybe I should have, just so I could have been in a different headspace or maybe had a different outlook, because there's so many different factors. Some people may be in my position and don't have the money to do certain things to help their situation out. Some people there are people that are just that lazy and don't want to do anything. There's so many different levels to all of it. So, going back to the original question, no, I don't care if people say something, they're going to say it anyway. But then then there's that northern side of me that goes, if I stand the fuck up out of this cart because this motherfucker doesn't, wants to be an ass, it's going to be game on. Because, once the adrenaline kicks in, you don't feel pain. So, there are people that are really kind, and then there's people that are really cruel, and you just got to be able to.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, people are just. I've seen like a shift of people just being straight up nasty, cruel. I hate it.
It's the until it happens to you scenario, because
or somebody that you really love and care about.
Well, it's funny you say that, because there have been situations where it's been, oh, you're just lazy, blah blah blah, but then when it happens to them, now it's the world's gonna end and this is horrible and I don't know how to do. Well, you're the big mouth that
sometimes the universe works in mysterious ways, Troy.
Karma.
It really does. And
karma.
Yeah, it's called karma. And that bitch. Woo! They say God don't like ugly. He sure do not.
Nope.
And what goes around comes around. And that's why I try. And, I'm not perfect. I have been that person that's judgy. You know what I mean?
We've all done it.
I'll be in the grocery, and God forbid I go with Bobby or Natalia to the grocery. I don't know what it is about me, but I can't stop my eyes from doing them once, twice, 3 times over on somebody, especially if you got a little rotten kid in your cart. If you got a little rotten kid in your cart and it's like, yeah, I want it. I'm like, oh my God. But I'm just looking like, and I'm not trying to judge, but I guess subconsciously I'm doing it. Like, handle your child, or why would you wear your slippers to the grocery in the snow or ice? That sort of thing.
And then bitch about the snow.
Yeah, that sort of thing for me is it's crazy. It's weird. Okay, speaking of, not to go off topic, but I'm going to venture off a little bit here.
It's fine. I'm good with going off.
So, as you know, it has obviously snowed in the Low Country. Oh my God. Right? So it's snowed. Now we're left with all this shit. It killed any grass that we had. And now the backyard is just a mud pit. It's mud. Okay. So in the last 3 days or whatever, when it's been melted and stuff like this, the dogs will come in and they're just full. I mean, belly full, paws all the way up to like their dog elbows, right? Are just dirt and gross and disgust, right?
But they love it.
And in there, and I mean, hey, they're living their best life. But for me, the one that cleans, no, honey, you're not coming into my house like this. I don't care if there's not one carpet beside the one that's in my bedroom. You can't come in my house looking that way. I wouldn't come in my house looking that way. Which makes you think I'm letting you come in looking that way?
Oh, no, you're a hot mess. You ain't coming in like that.
Mm-mm.
See, no, I didn't have that. I thought I don't know. Did you guys get? How much snow did you guys get?
We got like 6 to 9 inches.
I wish we would have, because we sat in a pocket. We were supposed to get mostly all snow, but we were sitting in that pocket of warm air That the
weird.
upper, yeah, we were sitting in that pocket where everything that dropped was ice.
Oh, we got sleet.
Yeah,
the first part was sleet.
Well, we didn't get any snow until like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
So we might have had maybe about
Same.
an inch of snow, and the rest was all ice. And I don't know about you, but because we're both from the north, it didn't click until Sunday. And I said to Christina, if it ices, we don't have anything to combat that. We don't have. And I'm
it didn't click for you, bro. That totally clicked for me. I was just like,
at first I wasn't thinking about it because I don't know why, but I didn't think about it. I was like, Christina, go to the cabinet and see if I still have that box of kosher salt up in the cabinet. And she's like, no.
Did you say kosher salt? You better stop.
Well, listen, they don't sell rock salt down here.
No.
So I'm there Googling, like, what can I use on ice on Sunday? And
you can use kosher.
I'm like, listen, we're going to go ghetto because there's no rock salt. I'm not going to go and buy a 40-pound bag of water softener salt, which you can use too. So I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy a couple boxes of kosher salt. I'll be damned.
Did it work?
Had I not thrown that shit down, like the stairs and part of the sidewalk that I put it on would have never gotten cleared out the way it cleared out.
Well, salt. Bobby G and I were having this conversation. Salt, it increases the freezing temperature, right? It increases.
Ice cream salt does.
It increases the temperature of the freezing point. Any salt, I imagine.
Well, no, because when I looked it up, they said the worst one to get.
Chemistry was never my thing, Troy. Okay?
That's fine.
Chemistry was never my thing.
My ghetto behind went and got kosher salt and it worked.
If it worked, it worked.
And the funny thing is I told Christina, because then when I don't know, well, it was kind of the same for you on Wednesday because you guys went out and you were romping around out there. But,
romping around.
But we
were skiing with the Jeep.
Not me. I didn't bust my ass, but I turned my ankle over because it was all ice.
Bro, I said that so many freaking times.
Well, that's a conversation for another time. But anyway, okay. I went to clean the car.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because trying to get out on Thursday would have been all sorts of hell.
I bet.
So
1 second. We're back. So yeah, the ice, the kosher salt, all the things. Listen, it has melted, and letting the dogs out, I would rather let them go to the bathroom in the house and clean that up than clean the dog, clean the floor, clean the thing. And so today I was like, Dawn, you dumbass. Why aren't you just taking Guy for a walk? It's a beautiful day. Take her to go to the bathroom. When you wake up in the morning, take her to go to the bathroom, a couple times during the day. Take her to go to the bathroom before she goes, to bed at night. Just take her down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, so I do. I'm like, you know what? Troy's coming over. We're going to be doing this, podcast. Let me handle my business with the dogs, Kai especially, because right now she's on prednisone, which makes her want to pee a lot more, taking more water. So I say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this leash on her. I'm going to grab my little handy dandy poop picker upper it's like a handheld poop picker upper, and you put the little bag over it. I don't know. I didn't even know what I was doing. So anyway, I get the whole thing ready, and we go out there, and she pees in the little cul-de-sac. In the middle of the cul-de-sac, she pees. Thank you, Jesus, you peed. Yay, love it. Just love it. And then I take her down the street because I'm thinking, I'll just take her to the pine straw area up the street, and then, I'll give my little grabby thing. Why did she stop in the middle of the road, Troy, and poop? The biggest poop I've ever seen in the middle of the road. I'm like, oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Now I'm that neighbor. So I pick it up as much as I can. And like I said, it's the biggest poop. And this claw only opens so big. And I'm like, great. And now I'm thinking to myself, I should have brought gloves with me because I know I'm going to get her poop on my hand. It was a disaster. But I'm like trying to hold her while I'm meticulously picking this poop up off the road. Anyway, I mean, I guess it's better than having to, clean her paws and clean her body and clean the floor and everything that she's walked on. It's a hot mess.
So, we had the opposite. I had the opposite. I thought for sure Gizmo was going to love going out seeing snow for the ground.
Well, he's very short-haired too, isn't it? Wasn't he cold?
Well, I'll get to that. Mm-hmm. So we go outside Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Me and Christine, because I just wanted to see his reaction. And he stands there and looks. And then does the look that he's given to me before when it's raining hard. Turns around and gives me the, what the fuck is this shit look? And he goes down. This 90-pound princess barely could even walk on that shit. And
it was all ice, though. I mean, to his credit.
There were sections where it was section close to us was snow. But middle to the neighbors was ice.
These southern dogs, you can't tell them nothing.
Of course. And then and this is the thing. Of course, he slipped for a little bit on the ice. And then you could see it. He was like, whoa.
This is crazy.
What am I going to do? And then it was little steps and shaking. And I'm like, oh, are you serious? And then he'd get on the snow and he was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. This boy didn't poop for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
And then he didn't poop for another 36 hours, all because of the stinking snow.
I can't imagine. That's so frustrating.
Dude, just go. It's not going to get any better. And he would walk around. He would walk around and walk around and walk around. And I could see his paws getting pink, up towards, the ankle part. Man, just go. Go already.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go. And then we'd come in, we'd sit down for an hour, 2 hours, and he'd go right back. He'd body check the door to go outside. And I'd take him out. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, no.
Bastard.
Is your button out?
No, I haven't touched it.
No, I mean, is it out?
Yeah, I haven't touched it.
All right. I think mine's out. But the computer just was ding, and I'm like, oh my God, I just adjusted it. Did I do something?
I know you were just.
I'm so paranoid about that. I don't even care anymore. I don't care, guys. I don't care. So what if you can't hear me? It's my guest you have to hear.
So here's the question, though. When you were with the snow, did you guys catch up on any entertainment, or you just frolicked in the snow and
entertainment as far as
binge watch?
Okay, so we found a show called and I mentioned this yesterday.
Yeah,
based on a true story.
Yep.
Good show. Have you seen it?
Have not. I put it down.
It's good. Yeah. Based on a true story. It's good. And we started to watch. Have you ever seen The Night Agent?
No, I never even heard of it.
Oh, before you do the other one, The Night Agent. You can look at this back and remember. Agent. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's one season that's already passed. Mm-hmm. So you can binge watch that. I love a show that's all the way out, and I'm the last to get the memo, but it's really, really good. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So I get to binge watch while everybody else has to wait for the next episode. And then it just started a new season. So season 2's out for The Night Agent, which we're looking forward to. But we watched Traitors. Traitors is on Peacock.
Yeah, we don't have Peacock. That's the one that we don't have.
Yeah, so that's on Peacock, and then we also watched Deal or No Deal Island, which is so fun.
Yeah, we can't get into that.
Really?
You ever watch The Floor?
No. What's that?
It's a game show.
Really?
Yeah, Rob Lowe hosts it. It's gonna the third season's coming up right after the Super Bowl. At first it was 50 people, then they upped it to 100, and the 100 is so much better because it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool concept. We binged watched in a day and a half Landman.
Was it good?
I liked it. It's fun to me. I was laughing.
Oh, are you watching Dexter?
No, I didn't get into Dexter. I didn't like it.
Why?
I just couldn't get into it.
Troy,
I know.
what is wrong with you?
But you know what movie
It's
you
so
know what movie
good.
I have seen multiple times?
What?
Bronx Tale.
Yeah, take that, take that, Carl. Take that. He knows how good it is because he's watched it. Do you know what's on? So we can tell Carl.
All right, it's on YouTube TV for free.
Oh, YouTube for free? Okay, YouTube TV.
It's on Apple TV for $4.
Oh, okay. Apple TV for $4.
And if you have AMC Plus, it's on AMC Plus.
Okay. What's the other one you said was $4? Apple TV.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta find. Did you just recently Google this for him? You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because I did it the last time, but I didn't. We haven't talked in such a long time, so when I say such a long time, it's been a few weeks. But the last time you guys, I was like, bitch, I'm gonna look this shit up because I know that like I just watched it.
It's always on AMC.
I have it saved on YouTube.
The only
TV.
thing is you can't watch especially if you're watching for the first time. You can't watch a Bronx Tale that is filtered or censored.
No.
You have to get the full Monty.
It's kind of like that's like saying watching Casino, Goodfellas, even like
The Godfather.
You watch all those.
Listen, if you watch, there's something wrong with you. Goodfellas, you have to watch Goodfellas, uncensored. Period.
But yeah, it's on. I did look the last time, and I was gonna send it to you because I was like, how's he never seen it? How's he never seen that movie? I mean, it's. Oh my God.
I've literally had people over to the house, and I'm like, okay, have you? Frankie
cakes.
Coffee Cakes. You could never look them in the face
Whispers.
Oh, that's Jimmy Whispers. Put him in the fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
No.
Bush.
I can't have that face looking at this face.
You're not gonna sit down there and look me dead in the face. No, gotta go.
The horses, they can't win. They can't win. Oh, mush bet the horses.
Yeah.
Mush bet the horses.
That's such a good movie.
Oh, it's so good.
Really, really good. I can't believe you never saw that, but to each his own. Now,
to each their own, but sometimes you gotta get something from somebody else.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like Christina's never seen. She's never seen The Godfather, the whole thing. I don't think she's seen. I'll tell you another one. I don't think she's seen the whole is Scarface.
Okay, Scarface. I do like Scarface. Say hello to my little friend. I love him. Scarface. But in order of my most favorite, I don't know what it is, Troy. I'm obsessed with the mafia and Italian heritage, and they were very, very business savvy individuals, and I respect that part of it. They're always no women, no children, none of that. But I don't know what it is, and I'm not a fan of doing the wrong thing,
like the violence part.
The violence or anything. I mean, I do watch the D channel every day. Go to sleep to that shit, but,
That's the show. Have you ever watched on Hulu Guilty or Innocent?
No,
because I know you like crime.
Mm-hmm. Is it real life though?
Yes, it's all real. It's all real life.
Because I don't know, I can't really get down with the fake stuff.
It's all real life stuff.
Yeah,
that's out there, that's happened, and they basically go through the whole story. They go through what's gonna have like leading up to the trial, including the trial. You find out what the verdict is, and then some of the stories they'll revisit later on in the seat because there's 4 seasons, 5 seasons,
Guilty or Innocent?
Yeah, Guilty or Innocent. That one's really good. What was the other one we watched?
Bro, speaking of real life shit, the body of, I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name right now, but there was a missing guy.
Oh, is this what you posted yesterday?
Yes, and he was found on Gibbet, right across the street. Like if you were to go, when you get out of the neighborhood and you go straight, that's Gibbet.
Oh,
so his body was found there. So I'm just waiting, like right now, on what actually happened, right? Like, was it just so cold and you didn't have, I mean, did you venture off and you didn't have anywhere to go or whatever? You mental health thing, did you die because it was so cold out? What happened?
Don't know. I didn't really read too far.
I'm going to get back. I'm going to get further into that. Yeah, we're going to dive deeper into that probably today. I'm going to see if there's any kind of update, because obviously they're going to do like an autopsy and stuff like this. If there was foul play, you know what I'm saying? Because that's crazy.
Yeah, especially when it's like right close to.
It's across the street. Carl and I were just literally, not this mashup, but Monday mashup prior to, we were just talking about like Gibbet Road, Gibbet. People call it Gibbet, but it's really supposed to be Gibbet. And I was talking about the tree, that, that's haunted, That's a creepy ass road.
Well, we've talked about our situation and where we're at and our possible ghost. Although, what's funny? We have not had any. For me, anyway, I think for the last 4 months, I haven't had any. There's no indication right now that
of ghosts.
Yeah, nothing.
There's ghosts over there where you live.
Yeah,
we talked about that
before.
There are ghosts.
Oh, I don't doubt it, but I just know that for me personally, I haven't had. The main coincidence is always the cigarette smell. I haven't had that. I haven't smelled that. 3 months. Watch, I'll go home now.
Don't you summon that spirit to this house. Okay, so for all of you guys watching, and I know there's a lot of people that, we got to go to Hilton Head, and it's so great. It is great, but it's not. Okay, I'll just leave it there. It's great, but, whatever is whatever. Anyway, the Blue Lady. You need to Google it. The Blue Lady. She is a spirit that haunts the infamous Hilton Head lighthouse. She haunts it, and she roams the island. There's a huge story behind that, and I'll go into that maybe another time, but I have a friend that literally saw the Blue Lady. We knew nothing about this. You're talking back in 2003. Before like Google was great and cell phones were great. The Blue Lady on Hilton Head. You want to look it up? You want to Google it right now? Give them a little bit more info. Anyway, we'll do that, and I'll get back to you about exactly the pretense to it, but something to do with the fact that it's the daughter of the lighthouse. There's somebody that mans the lighthouse, that used to man the lighthouse. Probably not anymore because technology's come a long way. Let's be real. But her father actually passed away, and then she passed away shortly thereafter. Her father did, but she didn't know. Like somehow she doesn't know she's dead, so that's why she's haunting the
lighthouse,
the island in the lighthouse area.
Did not know.
I used to live down at Beach and Tennis Resort, and
did not know that.
Wild. And by the way, according to the person that saw her on the island, and we identified her as the Blue Lady because she is blue. Right. Everything about her is blue. Blue. Her eyes are very, very like ocean blue, and not Hilton Head Island ocean. I'm talking about like Boca Raton, South
Like
Beach,
Caribbean
ocean,
blue.
Caribbean blue. So very oceanized, right? So, but apparently she followed him back over to where you live right now.
Sweet. Awesome.
So I don't know if she just like, I don't know. But Natalia has seen the apparition. I'm telling you, bro, we are energy. And sometimes we get stuck between dimensions. I know, wackadoo me. It's just what I feel. And the blue lady, proof of that. Speaking of the Calverts, ever found those people?
Nah.
Disappeared on Hilton Head Island. What was it, 2008?
Yeah.
And suspected they were murdered by their accountant. You guys have probably seen this if you have the ID channel. You've seen it.
Yep.
They were murdered by the accountant.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually owned, didn't they own Harbortown, the Calverts? I believe they owned Harbortown.
I don't know about owning Harbortown, but
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember back then when that was going on. That was a little
still
crazy.
Haven't found the Calverts. And every time somebody, like a pile of bones pops up somewhere, I'm like, oh, could it be the Calverts? That would be so great, because at least it would put it all to bed. Because the family, lots of families, they just want to know, like, I want to put their body at rest, right? Like, I want closure. I want to know what happened. I want to, if they were shot, I want to, know that they were shot, or if they were stabbed, I want to know they were stabbed. However, which way they were murdered, because it just brings closure and you can move on.
There's another show that we watched on Hulu. I'll have to locate it and I'll let you know, because it was really good, and it had to do with
Hulu.
It was on Hulu. I don't know if it was. I don't want to say it. We did watch. There was Unsolved Mysteries was on there, and it was stuff that wasn't on TV before, but they talked about a bunch of stuff. But there was another show that we watched, me and Christina, and it was really, really good.
Do you know what I don't like? Unsolved Mysteries.
Sorry.
I need closure.
Well, that's why I said we did watch Unsolved Mysteries, and it was really good, though, because it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
There's so many unsolved murders and mysteries out there. And for me, there's a show called Disappeared on the ID channel, and I will not watch it because I have no closure at the end of it. I need closure. I need to know that somebody went to jail. I need to know all the details, and then I want to know there's some sort of justice and closure there.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Troy, do you think I should go back to the Hardyville Police Department? I'm old now.
I mean, if that's what you want to do and you want to be a detective.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to do that. And I feel like it was, I kind of missed the boat, and it sailed, that ship sailed. And once you have that bug, like, that's what I've always wanted to do since I was little.
Well, then you're going to love the guilty or innocent thing, because there's a few episodes where when me and her were watching the show, I was sitting there and I would be thinking about, why don't they look at this? Why don't they look at this? Blah, 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 blah. And then lo and behold, like maybe 10 minutes later, that's what they were looking for. Or they would never mention that they were looking at this. And I would say to Christina, why are they not looking at this? Because this is so blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, now that you're bringing that up, I'm like, you're going to.
I love that you and Christina have these things, though. Like, she's your bestie, and like you're her bestie, and you guys kind of share in these things, which is great.
She's a trooper because she puts up with, because I'm a huge sports fanatic, and she puts up with the Sundays where it's,
don't talk to me, I'm watching sports.
Like, I'm watching football, and I try to balance it out the rest of the week where we watch mostly all the things that she likes. And don't get me wrong, there's some things that we watch together that I do like, but there are things that I watch with her that I know that's what she likes. So I'll watch it so that we're watching it together.
It's kind of like when Bobby watches Housewives with me. That's a guilty pleasure. I love the Housewives. Okay,
which
first,
one?
Please stand by. I've got several. Okay, my favorite is The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Y'all are my girls. I am like you motivate me to want to get all my girls together and just have a girls trip, but then like it always goes south as far as like everybody's at each other's throats and everything. I don't want that part, but I mean it's kind of cute, to be honest with you. And then I've got Housewives of Salt Lake City. They're really good. The Housewives of New Jersey, really good. I love the Housewives of New Jersey. They're coming back on. I used to watch the Housewives of
because of all this. You didn't watch this last season?
No, I did watch the last season. What happened?
They're not going to be back on.
Why?
Well, I'd have to go back and read the reports, but from what I understand, things are ended so badly that they don't want to do it. Did you not see what happened?
I did. They had like the supper and everybody like kind of got into it.
Yeah, and when they left, they were pretty
Dolores, if you're watching this, which you probably never will. I love you, Dolores. You are everything. You're beautiful. You're smart. Oh my gosh, she is everything. Dolores is everything. She's got her level head.
Her and oh my God, what's her name? Carolyn.
She was seasons back.
Yeah, but she's an
Manzo.
She's the OG.
Yeah, Carolyn Manzo, and they had their own little spinoff.
They did. It didn't last long.
But listen, I respect that. Why? Because they're like, you know what? What's right is right, is what's wrong is wrong. Which is what I've always felt I stand for. What's right is right. What's just and fair is right. What's wrong and unjust or unfair is that. I absolutely love Dolores for that. Dolores is on the Traitors. The new season of Traitors.
Weird that I'm sitting here saying that I'm a Jersey Housewives watcher.
I like the Jersey housewife men. They are funnier than hell.
Yeah, they make me laugh. They're funny.
They are very funny. If I could just chill with them, Joe Gorga, the whole crew, I would chill with them. You don't even have to claim me. I'll just sit back and on another table and just watch you guys. I mean, I just loved it. They're amazing.
I think Joe and Frank are probably the two.
Frank Costanza. Yeah. He is amazing, and Frank was actually married to Dolores, and they still have that great relationship though, where they co-parent very well. I mean, I can respect that. But yeah, Salt Lake City is really good. It's really juicy. But Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with Erica Jane and Kyle Richards and the whole drama and Dorit. Oh my God.
I got Christina into that.
The Housewives of Beverly Hills?
No.
Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey.
You did?
I did. I got her into that. Well,
I love this.
She got me into Walking Dead.
Ugh.
She also
I'm sorry, Christina, but I can't.
She also got it's funny because I don't like a lot of the zombie movie
yeah, I don't either. I'm not even into like sci-fi bullshit.
But like Walking Dead was pretty good. And the one that I like the absolute most is The Last of Us, which is on HBO. That's the one with Pedro. I don't know what his name is. Pedro, whatever. And the chick that was on Game of Thrones. They're on that show. That was really good because it was.
See, I've never watched like Game of Thrones or anything like that because I'm just not into that weird shit. Like Bobby will watch Gladiator 3,000 times.
I can watch Gladiator.
I mean, he just loves. I had to be like, I can't.
I got her into Game of Thrones. She had never watched any of the Harry Potter movies. We actually binged watch Harry Potter. What else did I get her into? Oh, Jersey Shore.
You know, Bobby and I were into the Jersey Shore for the longest. I mean, we were ride or die when they first started and nobody's lips were this big and everybody's face was normal. And then they went to the Jersey Shore family vacations and stuff like this. A few of them were fine. And I think the last one that we watched was when Ronnie came back and Sammy came back and Ronnie.
That was two seasons ago.
Yeah, and after that, I'm just like, I don't know. But I did see the one where they had like, they pulled that prank of the dead body in the pool. Did you watch that one?
Yes, there was one that was better than that though.
And
you didn't see the UFO prank?
I did see that one.
That was when Sammy first came back.
Yeah, and they were freaking out, and they were and you've got Snooki over there going, "Oh my god!" You know, but then who's Snooki's little sidekick there? The other meatball.
Dina.
Or
Dina, yeah.
Dina. She was like freaking out.
She had a meltdown
and everything. But you know who was my favorite on that show? I'll let you guess.
Jenny.
No, not JWoww.
You don't like JWoww?
I mean, I do. I can appreciate JWoww, but no, it's a dude. Of course. Pauly D. Pauly D.
I don't know how you can't.
How can you not like Pauly D? He's so
his
chill.
Attitude is that's what makes who he is.
He didn't let fame get to him.
No. He's
not something he wasn't before. He's always kind of been very much the same through every single dating way back to what, 2010?
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's just kept it 100. And I don't know if he's still with Nikki.
He is.
Is he really? That's awesome.
She just wasn't on she was on this last season for a few episodes, but she took a break because of what happened between her and Angelina. When she tossed
when she threw that wine.
Yeah. That's sad that I know. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know a lot. I love this about you. Probably why one of the many reasons why we're friends, because we see things very.
I'm very. I don't know if I want to say eclectic, but I mean, I'm. It's the same way.
You're in touch with all facets of yourself.
I feel like to be one way, you're not learning anything, and that's how I pretty much. I think that started with like music. Music's like, that's my big thing. I've had this conversation with Christina like multiple times that, I think that if you want to talk about therapy and you want to talk about people feeling good or anything like that, just look at what music does for everybody, what it does for
music has gotten me out of a lot of different mental situations that probably I would, if without it, I would not have made it through. Music is everything.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's normal when you're growing up. I mean, we grew up in the 80s era, which I think we're
latchkey kids, bro.
Well, I think, yeah.
I was actually a latchkey kid / mother / housekeeper.
I think we all were at one point. We had to be quasi parents at one point to babysit and shit like that. But
shame on our parents. My God, I wouldn't even call my parents parents though.
Honestly, I think we're if we want to go down that road, I think we're better off for it because.
Who else is going to lead the future generations into the greatness? None other than Gen X. We are leading. Gen Xers are leading all of the future generations until our generation dies out. And hopefully there's another like X 2.0. Because let me tell you something.
It's the last great era before things started to really go to shit. Like look back to, we could go, if you were fortunate enough to live in a home, you could leave the door open. Like your door had a screen door, you could leave the door open and the screen door was shut. That was it. You don't have to worry about anybody trying to walk in your house.
Right.
You could go outside and play till 10, 11 o'clock at night in the streets, and your parents didn't. I mean, your parents worried, but they didn't worry. You know, like,
you could
oh,
go out
shit.
and play at that time. I had to be home.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in general,
You could, yeah,
you could
generally.
go out. I mean, like we did we did just about everything you could possibly do without getting in any trouble. Now it's like, I look back to when I was a teenager, like played 2-hand touch football in the middle of the street, played wiffle ball in the middle of the street.
We used to play
street
baseball
hockey
in the middle of the street.
Middle of the street.
Yeah.
I mean, like we did all those things because fortunately our parents weren't too worried about the grass. They were more worried about us being kids than, oh, my grass is, don't walk on my grass. Well, as the years go by, look at what happens. Oh, don't touch my car, don't touch my grass, and all that went out the window. The only time we ever went up to school is if we wanted to play tackle football, play basketball, or hit a baseball, like actually hit a baseball at a baseball field.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, we could do anything. We could go bike riding in the woods and not have to worry about shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could go down the list. Drinking water out of a hose, like nobody worried about that.
No.
Now it's like can't do anything. Can barely even drink water out of a faucet, or else we're gonna die at a young age.
Right.
So it's just
right. We're tough. We were built tough.
Yeah. I mean,
we were just we're built different.
It was just a completely different era, and I'm sure our parents and grandparents feel somewhat the same too. I mean,
I don't know, because we have been granted the opportunity to live that life, but then sort of merge into the technological era and sort of. And how would any of our kids feel like we don't know what's going on? We are not boomers. We are Gen Xers. I have had to keep up. Why have I had to keep up? Because I have a 32-year-old child. I've got a 28-year-old child. And I've got now a 17-year-old and a 4. This is why your girl has had to keep up, because guess what? I'm not missing out. I'm not going to be that dummy that's sitting there going, what did you mean by that? Oh, no. I already know what you mean by that.
I think fortunately for me, working in food and beverage and working in the restaurant, always working with younger people, that has always kept me up to date as far as what's going on the streets. And then, like, of course, we grew up in the technological era of,
from Apple, when
Apple first started. You're talking about AOL. AOL.
When you're logging on to when you're logging on to the modem.
Oh yeah, the fax modems. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my god. Dial-up. And then if you, God forbid, somebody picked up the phone while you were online.
Yes.
If somebody picked up the phone, they would be. You'd be like, oh my god, you knocked me offline, or get off the phone.
Yeah. I mean, you have that. I mean, Atari.
And
television.
Ho.
Nintendo was
Pong.
In the 80s. Pong was the first.
Pong
was the first that Atari brought out.
Yeah, and then you got
Space
Invaders, but you've also
Centipede,
got
Asteroids, Defender. Want me to ramble them off for you? Pitfall, Frogger, Hubert. You want me to keep going?
Yeah. I'm looking for one. Is it Donkey Kong?
Yes, that's well, Donkey Kong was Nintendo.
That was after also the Atari was
Pac-Man.
the first. Yeah, Pac-Man. Well, that was after Pong, and that was after because the Pong. Remember, you literally had like a fucking little paddle with a little knobby knob on it, and you'd be like, "Oh god, oh my god," and you'd be like, "Oh, my knob got stuck," That's why I wasn't able to Pong it back over.
Stop.
That was.
Did you mess up my controller? You took my controller.
And then taking the Nintendo things out and
blowing in the cartridge
and putting it back in because it would get stuck.
Yeah, that's what everybody thought.
Like Legend of Zelda, and stuff like this. That was later on.
But I mean, like Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man came out in the arcades. They didn't come to. I mean, I remember when Atari came out, and then after that was in television. And television was the one that had like the better graphics, which were so horrible. But I mean, it was like you could play football and baseball, and it looked like real people, looked like semi-real people, as opposed to like X's and O's on Atari. You know what I'm saying? So,
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. And this is
Genesis.
low key embarrassing. Okay,
here we
Genesis, yes. Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
This is low key embarrassing. So the other day, not the other day.
TurboGrafx
I want to say probably about a month
when
ago. When I say
TurboGrafx 16.
just for the record, when I say the other day, I mean the other day could be literally like 2 days ago, or it could be the other day, as in like a year ago. But in this instance, I'm talking about probably a couple months ago. I sent Dante an Instagram post about like what are those cars? Hellcat. So it was a Hellcat that was speeding, right? And it was going like through like all this, like all of these things, and then it ended up like hitting like a pole, and like the driver was ejected, and it flew across the road. And I'm thinking, because Dante's always said, I want a Hellcat, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, here you go, here's your Hellcat, aka let me sign your death certificate. No, I don't think so. You got me messed up. So anyway, I sent this to him, and he was like, Mom, that's he said that's Grand Theft Auto. That's GTA. And I looked, and then I'm like, look again, and I'm like, oh Lord, you right. But still, it could happen. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh my god, they did such a good job. That's to this point. The graphics, can we talk about that? We're going from Pong to GTA. Mm-hmm. Like, are you serious right now? Mm-hmm. And then Carl and I yesterday, we touched on the profanity that's used during playing these games. Yeah. Oh Lord, I'm like, woo! Someone bring Jesus to the house.
Get me and Carl.
We need to break bread.
Get me and Carl together, and I got some funny stories of when I used to play Halo. And this kid.
Do you still play games? Because Carl's on.
We don't have. I'm also a COD player. But we haven't played because we haven't had a Xbox in like forever.
Okay, can you play that stuff on the PC?
You can, but it's your graphics on the system. It has like a regular computer is a lot different than the graphics and the graphics card is different in a computer than it is on the Xbox, but. Okay. You can essentially do it. You just have to get like the controllers and connect them and all that stuff and do
So speaking of Sean, Sean, he's so technologically smart. Like he was the manager of like Geek Squad. Mm-hmm. He's just a very intelligent person. Right now, he is like the tech person of a school district close by. Mm-hmm. And he does all of their technology. He's the head of technology there, mm-hmm. Which is wonderful. I mean, what a great thing, mm-hmm. right? But also, he likes to have all the toys, the great things, the toys.
Latest and greatest.
So he's building, a computer.
Yes, you were telling me about that.
And for his Christmas wish list, it had one thing. You
told me about this.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you did. It was a graphics card?
Yeah, it was a graphics card. And I was like,
they're not
sorry,
cheap.
I choked on my
they're not cheap at all.
I choked on my thought for a second. How much? Like, wow, bro, are you trying to like rule the world with this computer? Like, that's weird.
Well, remember when you were telling me about possibly getting the Mac Studio?
Yes.
I had heard of it, but I didn't really because
I said about getting the Mac Studio, but I could never build a Mac Studio.
Yeah, but I'm sure if you ask him, he'll tell you after doing some of the research and going back and looking at these things. I mean, are you serious?
Well, I need a bigger space, Troy. This I firmly believe. Like I'm a firm believer in manifestation, right? And while we're sitting here talking, you and me, with our little sign and our little setup here and our little one camera and our light and everything. My goal is to have a place outside of where we're at
Mhm.
that is truly like a studio that is set up and can the whatever it is that I'm going off of, whatever I'm inputs and outputs, sort of thing. I want it to be grand. I want it to be everything. But of course you got to start somewhere, and this is not a bad place to start. It's not like we're sitting here like on our iPhones, but I truly feel like that Mac Studio is everything. But did you do more
That
research
thing,
and
oh
found
my, that is a
beast?
beast.
And that's
Now
what
I'm
I
sure.
want. I need more inputs. I need all the
Now
things.
don't get me wrong. I'm sure whatever Sean's building, that's going to
Phenomenal.
be
Yeah.
a beast. But when you're talking about like just going out on the market and buying a CPU, because that's basically what it is. It's just a CPU. That thing's that's a beast. Now there's gaming consoles or gaming CPUs that are out there that are ridiculous too, but people are basically buying those for the speed and that because they can't have any lag time when they're playing. Like all these gamers that are playing, whether it's professionally or they just want to have the latest and greatest, those things are like ridiculous as far as there's no lag time at all. But as far as home use and using it for what you want to use it for, it's just ridiculous. And the next one that's supposed to come out this year is supposed to be even. Oh my
It just
gosh!
keeps going and going and going. Like things are getting more and more and more technologically advanced, and I'm trying to keep up. I really am. But just like I said, just putting this together was crazy. If you could see from our perspective right now, like right now, if
All the
I'm if
different.
I'm keeping it very vanilla and honest with you, I'm looking at a Sony Mark 9 camera on a tripod. We're looking at ourselves on a Microsoft Surface, which only has a few inputs for things. So I've got one of the inputs is a system. I'm having a brain fart right now. But I've got everything kind of set up right here in front of us, which you can't see. Obviously, I'm not going to show all that. It's weird. It's got a lot of wires and whatnots. But the input device that I'm on right now only has access for 2 mics. And I want something that is capable of at least 4. And I also want other camera angles. But I feel like this right now is where I start, and you got to start somewhere. You start somewhere, and then you make goals to get to a better place.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a starting point that you work with, and then you work on you try other avenues or other things to see what you think works best for you, and
Do you
you go from there.
remember the conversation that we had? I remember because I was going to pick up G from school, and I said, "Bro, I think this is what I've been thinking. I think I'm going to do a podcast." Do you
Yeah,
remember that?
I remember you
It
telling me.
was before I even started this,
Mhm.
and but there's so much to do. There's so much to learn, and there really is. It's just not like I mean, there's you can just use your iPhone and do it that way.
Mhm.
But for me, as you know me, I'm like, well, I need all the everythings to do all the things. So here we
But
are.
then you find out that, oh, you mean there's
There's more.
other stuff?
There's more. There's always more.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
But I had to start somewhere, and right now I wish I could have 2 more guests. I think that would be perfect. At least have the capability of having 2 more guests. And I also need to research more about how do I have multi. I know I need I'm going to call it a switchboard. That's going to show my age right now. But like a little switchboard that it can go different angles, but I can't manipulate those angles and also be on the podcast. You know what I mean? I would actually need to pay somebody to sort of manipulate those angles, so I'm not having to sort of record on different devices and then sort of edit it all together. My thing is I am not, I want it, I'm a plug and play kind of chick. I want plug, play, go. So the only thing that I do with these podcasts is I will shave off the last 10 seconds of the podcast of me turning it off. And or if it's weird when I turn it on. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, I think that people really kind of can respect also the realness of the whole thing.
Yeah, because I remember when we talked about it, you were set on this is the angle that I want to go with. This is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think since then, over the course of time, that's all kind of it's changed. But I don't think at all in no way, shape, or form do I think it's a bad change. I think it's actually a good change because it's like you said, it's more raw, it's more
personal.
It's personable. It's not scripted.
No. I see a lot of people that are podcasting and they've got like kind of cue cards, so to speak, and they're reading off of that. And that's not a bad thing. I've actually thought about that on occasion when I'm speaking, when I feel like I'm going to be speaking to somebody or like, you know, something where I have to stay on point.
Yeah. I mean, well, case in point is today. Like we can talk about what
your Ozempic journey,
my journey, but I also don't, you know, that's not the only thing that's going on in my life. It's not the only thing that's going on in your life. So we can talk about
now,
that
if
stuff
the only thing,
and then diverge away from that and talk about other stuff.
If the only thing I knew about you, Troy, was the fact that you're going through this and you came to me with this sort of story and you were like, I want to tell everybody about this, and I would be like, then we would still be talking about that right now. But I've known you for how long?
It would have been like, I lost a pound.
Right. Right. Exactly. I lost a pound, and we would talk a little bit more about that. And then, you know, like I would allow, you know, obviously I'm not going to say allow because that's weird, but you would be talking about what your journey is. And I would be more sitting back without the banter. I mean, it's great when you know the person that you're sitting across from, because you know a lot of the history and, you know, and in fact, today I will tell you guys, I told Troy, do not tell me what happened yesterday at the, you know, don't tell me before don't tell me what happened at the doctor's office, because I want my reaction to be organic. But that's how often we speak in between podcasts. And
well, not only that, but we get mad at each other because when we actually talk.
Yeah, I'm like, shut up, don't talk to me. Stop talking to me. Wait, you've gone too far, you know, because that could be all be used on the podcast. And, you know, like we can podcast your journey, your Ozempic journey, which in summary, we're going to close with that journey. Mm-hmm. But in the between time, I mean, don't get mad at us because we do venture off into different lands.
Well, I was thinking about this today, is that, no matter who's on here, whether it's Carl, Liz, myself, or anybody else for that matter, there may be something that you take away from the actual podcast that may either give you insight or you learn about, but then maybe there's something that you can relate to and be like, oh yeah, because honestly, and that's the whole, I think that's the whole point, because I think it was the very first podcast with Carl that you were talking to him about his family, mm-hmm. and how he felt about,
like his mom, like no, they didn't come home.
We had to, we paused it, and I turned to Christina and I said, you know what? His take on that was completely different than my take and my history. Mm-hmm. But I certainly understand like his view or his
I
take of it.
felt like Carl's view on it. I'm a good read. I can read people very well. And if it's making them feel a bit uncomfortable, I will sort of divert the attention away because I don't want to put anybody in a position whereas they feel like they're obligated to answer questions or whatever in reference to their personal lives. A lot of people have lived very different lives. And I'm one of them.
Mhm.
I'm very comfortable now. I wasn't very comfortable back in the day discussing my childhood or discussing what made me who I am. But other people may not be so open to that anymore. Sometimes there's a bit of shame that comes with that, or you just don't feel any type of way. And I want this to be a platform for people to just be able to say, you know what, have a code word, like fucking whatever it is. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Okay, I'm shutting the fuck up. Those type of things. Like I just want people to be able to say their life experience. They could be helping somebody be more open about their own. For me, I have not, Troy. This when I first started thinking about doing a podcast, I thought I am going, and you'll see on my bio, I have changed it probably 2 times to state, at first it was going to be like mental health and all this other stuff, and I really narrowed my audience down, and I narrowed it down because I was going based on what I felt like I needed. Right? Like I needed that sort of therapy that is free, and I also wanted to help other people that maybe wouldn't be so forthcoming in their story. But really and truly, how many of these podcasts have you seen of me just really diving into my story? It's still a bit trepidatious for me to sort of get into the thick of it with my audience. Because again, that little girl in me doesn't want to be so exposed and so raw and so vulnerable. But at the end of the day, I can't think about what anybody's going to think about me. I have to think about what at the core of it is my mission. In fact, I was talking to somebody this past week, my sister-in-law, and she said, Dawn, you need to journal. You need to journal your history, and not for anybody but like maybe your kids, because they really don't know your history. And if maybe they knew your history, they could learn a little bit more about you. And I'm very careful with what I share. I really am. My childhood was not good, Troy. It was not good.
We've spoken.
But I really, there's not too many people that know. Like who wants to sit there and like, and the flip side of that is like, I feel like, oh, okay, like are people going to see it as like a woe is me thing? No, I don't want that. I don't want anybody's sympathy or even empathy. I just want people to get the idea that like, I made it through this and so can you. But also there are people that have had it so much worse than me.
Mhm.
And I'm not sitting here claiming to be a victim of anything. What I am though is somebody that took my past and when you have the kind of past that I've had, and you've grown up the way that I have, you have a tendency to look at it a couple different ways. You want to help people, but also you don't want sympathy from anybody, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I think ultimately there's other people out there that are going through stuff. And if anything, if they're able to see that and understand that there's other people that have gone through something too.
Right.
Like you said, it's not about, wanting sympathy at all. No, it's just saying, hey, like this is what I've experienced.
I want to empower people.
This is what I've gone through. So if that helps somebody to know that, hey, there's other people out there that are like that, they've gone through this, then that's the ultimate.
And surely in this technological day and age, people know that there's other people that are brave enough to come forward with their stories and stuff like this. And they can relate and everything. But For me, and I am no exception to anything. Like I don't feel like I'm some sort of special human that, like, oh my gosh, I'm this victim. I'm not a victim. Actually, I feel like a more of a victory than a victim. Because I took all of those things that I learned that felt shitty to me growing up. The way that I felt from the time I was in foster care all the way up until, I had a child very young, and, all of these things, they shaped me. They changed me. They made me who I am. And some people can relate to that, to the person that I've become, that I've sort of been molded into, that I've molded myself into, and also sort of gone off the past events of my life and said, you know what, I don't ever want my kids to feel this way. And I never want my partner to feel this way. And I never want my friends to make me to feel like I've made them feel this way. That being said, I feel like it's made me a better person, but I'm also a very cautious, better person. Right? I'm a very cautious person. I do not let just anybody into my life. So explaining all of that on air is sort of the old adage of airing your dirty laundry, like, yeah, it's filthy laundry, but will it help more than it hurts? Most definitely, because I can't see it hurting anybody except for the people that don't want the truth to be known or seen, like your dirty, ugly truth that you've been trying to hide for so long. Yeah, those sort of things, like they need to be said, but I'm kind of pussyfooting around it, bro. Like I love to hear everybody else's stories and how they've gotten strength from or gained strength from whatever they've done in their past or gone through in their past. And I inside is this little girl that's scared. I'm scared to
But
tell.
I think it's a fair thing to say. It's not that it's for those that don't know. I mean, me and Dawn are fairly close. We know each other's background history. We know backstory. So, I mean, I totally get it. I understand it, and I really do believe that each person that experiences some of the things that we've experienced, you take a road. You choose a road and a path to go down, and there may be bumps along the way, or there may be a side street or two that you go down, but you, in essence, you choose a path and you stick with that path, and you say to yourself, this is the way that I want to be. And for whatever reason, we're the ones that make that decision on whether or not we're going to open up about certain things or whether or not we need to be guarded. And I mean, I know a lot of the things that have happened to you, and I know things that have happened to you, within the last 15 years. So I get it. I totally understand it. But again, that's where if somebody sees this and they watch this and they hear us talking about something, anything, and they can say, oh yeah, like that's what I've dealt with, and I understand, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the ultimate.
I want to be able to, I feel like my purpose here, in this life is to take what I've gone through, and not make a martyr out of myself, but to educate, as well as to say, it's first of all, the things that happen to you are not your fault. And you are able to take those things. One thing that is a peeve of mine is when people take the history of how they've grown up, right? You've grown up in a household full of drugs or alcohol or abuse, whatever, which way that is, the dysfunction, and you utilize that to be a piece of shit, you know how that made you feel as you were growing up, but you utilize that to say, you know what, this is how I was raised. So I'm not going to change because oh, well, this is how I was raised. I was abused. I was, I grew up in an alcoholic household or whatever. So I can be an alcoholic, or I can be abusive, or I can do all these things.
It's the age-old added phrase that I was told once a long time ago. Remember when you point the finger, because you got 3 more fingers pointing back at you.
That's right. 100%.
So,
and you know what? I need to get my brain out of the thinking process of being judged and just say what it is. And that's coming. Troy, that is coming. I'm just trying to sort of pump myself up for that. Not to mention, I don't want to be sitting here, me, my microphone, and my camera, and my audience, and talking to a camera. That's very odd to me. I need to have banter. I need to have a back and forth. And I'll get to that point where I feel like I'm sort of like, quote, brave enough to sort of put it all out there. And I don't even have to name names, because those people that I'm speaking about, they know exactly who they are. And if you can't come to grips with that and have a coming to Jesus moment, or whatever you want to call that, and make yourself whole, which I don't need an apology. I really don't. I seek that for a long time. I sought that for a long time, an apology, and a genuine one. But you know what? I no longer need that. I'm stronger than I used to be. I no longer need that. I've moved past that. But now I just need to really sort of tell my story in a way that is what I feel is, truthful and acceptable. And that's all I can do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I watched that first episode, and we got to that part, and I paused and I said something, and it just sparked a whole conversation between Christina and I, because she had questions about my past
that you hadn't shared just yet with her.
I hadn't really shared like a whole lot of it. Like, she knew some of the stuff. She didn't know everything. I mean, like, the way I feel about it is this. You can ask me. I'm pretty much an open book. I have nothing to hide. I mean, I guess I was kind of like the way you put it. There were things that I didn't really want to ever talk about, because I knew what it was going to do to me. I don't have a problem talking about it, but I didn't want to get a certain way, because I knew that I would get
emotional,
and not like breaking down emotional, just
mad.
I hurt.
Yeah, of course.
But at the core of it, I'm so pissed off.
Yes.
And that's the side that I don't want anybody to ever really see. Like, you want to bring out a bad side of me, you're going to have to do a lot to bring that out.
Yeah, you've got such a long fuse compared to me, I feel.
I used to have a very short fuse. And then
I used to have a very short fuse too.
I learned, I think it was,
my fuse has grown.
Mine's grown too. I think that, there was a point, I had a breaking point, where I realized that I needed to try to make the fuse grow and be longer. Otherwise, I was going to have a short lifespan.
Yeah, but I mean, for sure.
When it comes to family and the root of certain things, it brings out the bad side of me, because, like you said, for a long time, I wanted to be able to forgive. I wanted to hear an apology, and I wanted to be able to forgive.
Yeah.
But that time is long gone.
The ship sailed.
And now it's just nothing but, I'm cool with not talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
But if any of those people were to ever approach me now,
yeah,
it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are so many things. Like I said, that's why like when that came up, Christina had questions. I answered them, but I don't think she thought she was going to get the way that I um uh, uh, uh the way I gave my perspective,
Right.
because she always thinks that I'm getting loud anyway. She always thinks that I'm yelling, and
No,
I'm
it's
sure
just
the
the
loud.
northern in you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the loudness came out to where it was received the way it was brought out,
Sure.
and
Yeah. Normal.
that's the thing, and
That's
that's
normal.
where like Carl talked about it. He was very calm about it. Whereas with me, like my perspective is a little bit different, and like I said, everybody has their own. Uh, they deal with it the way that they feel suit or what they feel is best for them, and that's fine. I completely and utterly agree. My take on the similar things that what he went through is a completely different.
I think we need to I know we're doing your Ozempic journey. That's a great thing.
Mhm.
I love that. But I also feel like we should get together. Okay, so here's the deal. I've got the Monday mash with Carl. I've got soon we're going to be Tal Tuesdays. So Talia is going to join
Oh,
me
okay.
Tuesdays. I feel like we need to slot you for Wednesday to not just do an update because obviously if we do this on a weekly basis for you on Wednesdays, then we're not going to have like an update
We
as
could
far as anything
do.
like doctor's appointments or anything like that.
Well, my next doctor's appointment isn't until April anyway, so I mean, we could still. I mean, we can talk about
Can
it.
we slot us for Wednesdays? And I feel like our slot for Wednesday needs to be your Ozempic journey as well as um, really kind of diving into our personal selves and our history and how we feel. I feel like that I feel comfortable enough with you, obviously, where I feel like we can talk about those things. And then Thursday is supposed to be Liz. It's always touch and go with that, understandably so. And then of course Friday, I got to take the day off, honey. I got to take the day off. This is not just, by the way, this podcast thing, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, it seems great and everything, but guess what? You have to edit. You have to put it through different platforms to get clips and all this other stuff because you're not, unless you're advanced enough that way where you can just quick, pat, fast. But the editing is what takes the most time.
Yeah,
it really does.
Friday.
It's Vino Friday, Vino Saturday, and obviously it's Vino every day for me. On the podcast, you're going to see me drinking wine. Why? Because it just, I feel like I can just relax.
Sponsor your,
Oh my God, Apothic.
I'll have to start working on that for you.
And my top says Bluffton State of Mind. I have so many of these tops. You can literally it doesn't go anywhere.
But yeah, I'm good with Wednesdays.
Let's do that. I've got to leave in 10 to pick up G.
What do you think about Poor Richards?
I'm sad. I'm so sad. Poor Richards, we love you. I don't understand.
I haven't been there in
Make
so
it make
long,
sense.
but I mean, it's
a friend of mine,
great place.
T Barnes and me, we love that place, and it was amazing. We used to do her birthday there. We would do Christmas there. Christmas get together or whatever there. And I'm gonna miss it. They have the best lobster, the best surf and turf. It was amazing.
Can't do the seafood. So when you and Carl talk about seafood stuff, I can't relate.
Okay.
Although I can relate about some of the other stuff restaurant-wise. We can always have.
Oh yeah, we need to mash it up. We need to have you that's why I'm saying we need to have another. I need to set this up differently, but and of course I can set somebody up over there. But you would have to bring your own laptop and stuff, and I can hook that mic up over there. But anyway, guys, peace, love, health, happiness to every single one of y'all. Yes. And then you know what to say now, right? You've seen them enough Monday mashes. Like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, if you don't.
Stands on air, like and subscribe.
Always gotta like and subscribe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't make any money off of this. I don't care if I ever do. But I like the like and subscribe. That's pretty cool. You know, to know that we're getting through. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on everything.
Anyway, till next time, we're out. Peace.